Greetings, I am Lies and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together! Let's do it. While the animal shuffles off around the side of the structure, Asra visits the garden, frowning at the yellow plants.
Well, this all looks dusty. Looks like I've been gone too long.
Are you here frequently?
I'm also like, but you're in a cactus thing.
Are they native plants? Should they be watering themselves?
In the same way? I know, like, cacti, like, will wrinkle and like, I have seen a yellowing, but I'm like, that pronounced as, like, your cactus is dying.
Yeah, there's not a lot to do at that point. It's not like they look thirsty, it's like they look like they're dying.
They look like they're, because they're supposed to support water. Anyway, I've been gone too long.
He drops the bag from his shoulder and unwinds his scarf with a yawn, rubbing the sand from his eyes. And I wonder when he was here last and how often he comes. A bleached basin nearby is filled with grey, dusty earth. It looks like it may have been a fountain once. The whole area is very dry. Very dry. The sight makes Asra blink once. Then he holds his palms over the cracked dirt, and the surface starts to wobble. He looks stunned.
Alarmed.
Holy shit, it's working! Ha! It turns to golden liquid. Pond water green, then clear, sparkling blue. Sighing, Asra feels a jug, and starts to water.
Okay, so water doesn't look blue. That's either a color added or it's specific, like, chemicals or minerals in the water. And also, when you have that small of a container, that would make me, I'm like, did you make crystal light?
Except for this isn't a container, this was the ground. Because he puts his hand over the ground.
It's over a fountain.
No, the fountain was there, but he put his hand out over the ground.
That's in the fountain.
There's ground in the fountain?
Yes.
It said there was grey dust.
So there's grey dust, yeah, and ground in the fountain.
It didn't say there was ground in there, just grey dust.
Yeah, I don't care. I imagine it's in there, so we're having, it's fine. It's
so he made the ground in the fountain crack open and produce water.
Produce crystal light.
Okay, that's fine.
For cacti.
What was it? Like ocean breeze flavored drink or whatever.
These things will now die.
Yeah. But yes, for blue water, you need a large expanse for light refraction.
Yes.
Or, as my friend was saying, chemicals or, just the right chemicals in there, whether they be natural or man-made.
Yeah. It's actually like, so, if you ever notice, like, a lot of people who have pools at home, actually the pool is, like, typically painted blue because that's the expectation that you have blue, clear water, but the water isn't actually blue.
It's just clear.
It's just clear.
It's like if you have those above-ground white pools and the water's completely clear, and then you see the below-ground pool, and you're like, it's blue. It's because the pool is blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what
All right.
Yeah.
Fills the jug and starts to water.
Like, pond water green is fine.
Uh-huh.
The fuck? Why? You're probably exhausted. You want to go lie down inside? There's a bed in there. Once I tend to this, I'll join you. After they finish dying.
I mean, there's no reason I wouldn't stay with you. Wouldn't you be tired too? Neither of us slept last night, Asra.
We just rode a critter and I had no feelings about it.
Well, we rode a critter all day, but last night we did, like, the campfire and we started a goat in a field and we did a whole cave adventure. Like, it was there. I nod blearily, passing through a magic barrier and a bead curtain into a room cast in the warm light of sunrise. Wait, we traveled an entire fucking day again. Okay. And night. Because it was morning when we got on the beast and traveled a long way for it to be sunrise when it was already completely risen. That means we traveled all through the day and all night again without sleeping. So this is 2 days out from NADIA'S now, and we didn't sleep the cave night and by the fire and stuff like that, and then we didn't sleep this night on the beast.
Oh God! We had no thoughts about it at all. My legs don't hurt, and
we haven't gone. I'm so tired. We haven't gone.
I'm hungry.
I haven't
thirsty.
slept for 2 days. Oh my God! Riding on a beast when you're not used to riding for like 18 hours is ridiculous, or closer to 22 hours.
That's a lot.
Like 20 hours, depending.
I'm also like, that beast is hardcore as fuck.
I was gonna say, because sunrise usually takes total about 10 or 15 minutes. Like, anywhere you are in the world, it doesn't take very long.
Right.
So we met the beast in the morning and traveled all day long, except for it would have been all day and all night because it's sunrise now.
Right.
Whoa, that is intense.
It's an experience.
And the fact that we aren't mentioning that we haven't slept for 2 days is intense also. Like,
again, we have no feelings about it at all. We
no
have
thoughts on the subject, yeah. Or just even being worried about Astra and being like, aren't you tired?
Be like, oh, okay, you're going to come in and sleep with me too, right?
Because, and he said, I'll come and join you, and just being like, okay, but maybe I should just stay with you because we're both really tired. And I don't want you to fall in the cactuses.
And also, maybe I'm just really clingy because I'm really tired.
Because I have not slept for 2 whole days.
Oh, God.
Okay. Sunrise. Away from it all.
Chapter 2, Away from it all.
Here's a question.
What is it?
If you choose the city, do you end up going here anyways, or do you actually get divergent paths?
I don't know.
I would be so interested to know. All right. Warm rays across my face, stir me from slumber, sometime around noon. Asra still sleeping, face buried in his arm. I did not care or notice when he joined me because I was so tired. Also, the bed is gross because we have not bathed at all, and we have been in the hot sun and the sand and the dirt and the wind for a day.
Also, I would like to know, does Asra have magical sparkle barriers that make it so that no dust and nothing collects in the house? Because my brain also went, ew, that's dusty.
I think the implication of the magic barrier is that nothing from the outside gets in unless it's invited. Not dust, not bugs, not anything. It's just a preserved magic little house.
Also, I have to say, casually, he knows a shit ton of really powerful magic based on my brain.
Yep.
But I honestly do not know because he will not be specific at all. And going, you're supposed to be better. Okay, what does better look like? Because all we have is you doing magic and we have no basic... stage
we have very little comparison, yeah.
I don't understand. It's fine.
I was going to say, but the thing for me is
I still think Astra's full of shit.
We've been in the pond, the magic pond, whatever.
Right.
And who knows if it's natural water, if the water, has enzymes or smells like we both smell like damp person. And then...
We smell like damp old pond.
I was going to say, and the thing is... I
forgot about
depending on the pond water, so that just
damp
dried...
cave pond.
That just dried on us. And cave ponds usually have, high mineral content, algae and or moss content. Again, magic pond, we're not sure.
I was about to say high mineral typically, but
that dries on you while you're also, sweating and in the forest, in the heat of it all and stuff, because you realize how hot it was outside when you got into the coolness of the cave.
I am a creature.
And then you stay up all night, and then in the morning you go and you meet this creature, this cool ass, wheat-haired cat bus chimera thing. And you ride it all day long through wind and sand and dust and dirt in the heat,
where it's so going to sweat.
You both sweat a whole bunch and get a bunch of dirt stuck to you, and then you just go and crawl in bed.
No, and then also the creature is going to sweat and lose fur, and also the dust it kicks up, and the bugs that it has. I'm like,
unless it magically doesn't have any bugs, but it still has its own dirt and sweat. Yes, you smell like musky creature halfway down your body.
A musky creature from a cave.
No.
And traveling, musky, because you were
because you are from a cave, right?
Yeah, because you came from the cave.
You have
so you
a
smell
bouquet of odors going on, as well as
Astra's still like this, and he's like, shit, I can smell my armpits.
A thick cake.
I smell like butt.
A thick caking of dirt over you. I'm like, what we need
really
is a bath.
Butt.
You know what? Nadia took the most
baths.
cleaning. I think of any of these that I've been to, any of these routes, Julian was gross. He was just unclean.
Default, he was gross.
For so long, it was gross. That became a plot point for us.
Honestly, it was very funny.
Okay, but right now we are eking up on that with Asra, with 2 days of no sleep, no wash, and a lot of heat and sweat and work and environmental exposure. All right, face buried in his arm. Slow shadows from the hanging ornaments in the window glide softly over his features. What was I dreaming about? That is a huge crystal. Wow. The bust of the Minotaur is interesting.
Yeah.
Also, the one happy leaf and a little cactus in the window. I kind of love that. I am sad that there aren't any ornaments actually hanging in the window, because that's what we were talking about. But I do like the idea that the little crystal hanging underneath the big crystal is shooting reflectory light everywhere.
Right.
So that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What was I dreaming about? Something interesting, I think. Something important? But I can't remember it. It probably had to do with him, I suppose, as I watch Astra's eyelashes flutter and his breath deepen as he starts to wake. Usually your breath deepens as you go to sleep.
What?
I was like, based on my understanding of sleep and REM sleep and going deeper, it's your breathing slows and becomes deeper when you're sleeping, usually?
Yeah. Actually, that's why I was like, wait, what?
That is the opposite.
Is Asra going back to sleep?
No, he's waking up, apparently.
No, he's waking up.
Every book I've ever read, too, is always like, their breathing becomes deep and even when they fall asleep, and that's when you notice you can stop watching your vigil because they're finally asleep.
So that was also the thing, though, that I figured out when I was a child that would constantly give me away.
Oh?
When I would get up when I wasn't supposed to, and your parents come check on you. And it was like, it's the wrong kind of breathing. And I figured that out when I was a kid, and I was very proud of myself.
And then you're like, I can fake the right breathing.
Yes, exactly. That's what I did.
Yes.
Because the thing was, I'm like, that's that. I'm like, people underestimate how much kids are like, I don't understand why this matters or why this cares, and like why anybody should care, and you're not connecting me to it. So all I'm going to do is just figure out ways to lie to you.
I'm going to figure out ways to get around the barriers you're putting in my way because I know what I want and I don't see any reason not to have it. I only see you don't want me to have it,
which is not a thing.
All right, it's probably had to do with him. He starts to wake. He rolls his shoulders with a groan and opens his eyes. Whatever I must look like. The sight of me makes him smile, but it's probably pretty gross.
It's very stinky.
It's pretty... Well, at least you can't see the stink, yeah? But it's definitely sweaty and dirty, and while I was sleeping, if I drooled at all, I will bet you that, the dirt's crusted and caked together around it, and so I have, a darker line. I will probably rub that off quickly, subconsciously.
Yeah.
Whoops! But I'm glad I make him smile. I hope my hair is not too, folded into an awkward position from being stiff and filled with dirt.
Nope, fucked. Morning. How do you sleep? You were talking a little when I came in. I couldn't really make it out.
Talking? Not unusual for me, and we both know that. I turn to him, and he rests his chin on his hand. I like the implication that this bed is so big that we're not touching each other at all.
Okay.
Just because, there really is this describing him over there.
Right.
But not in any relation to us at all, but we're still in the bed. And so the bed just is expansive at this point.
Right.
Basically, because of the very vague descriptions of what's going on, except for the fact that we are not in contact at all. Chin hands.
Something about just the two of us?
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. It comes back to me in a flash. Oof. Just the two of you. Always just the two of you. When he's with you, nothing else matters. Now it's only a matter of time before you vanish into your world together. Wait, what? Wait, what?
What?
That's super weird. And do we know Muriel?
No, we do not. However, again, we don't
we don't have to. So, strange figure in our dream.
Yep.
Telling us that
somehow our subconscious still remembered him because we did meet him in the marketplace.
Assumably talking about with this route we assume it is the original prologue. Anyway, not the original, the one we played first. There we go. So many revisions. Revisions. Anyway, I was gonna say, so person in our dream told us that there's a thing about just the two of us, which I can assume meant Asra and me, but I don't know if there was any context in the dream. Because the thing is...
I mean, if I'm just going to read it as it is, what I'm hearing is the more you two, which your Kohai has already said, I'm pretty sure it was about him. The more you persist in... I guess, actually, this weird avatar of Muriel, because the character doesn't know that, is actually telling you the more that you're an introvert, or the more that you, quote, indulge, I guess, because then
being alone together, the worse it will be.
Yeah.
Which is, that sounds like introvert shaming to me.
It does?
I mean, and the thing is I have advocated many, many times of if you have a relationship, it's important to get your needs met in other places and not just isolate yourself with that person. But the thing is if you're good at meeting your needs and your relationship doesn't get in the way of that.
Now, here's the question, though. In this particular case, since we're talking about Kohai here, and also there's not necessarily the amount of awareness or education, would Kohai even put that together? I mean, this does sound like...
So if Kohai's going... Okay, let me try and get in Kohai's space. If Kohai was like, I think I was dreaming it was something about you, so Asra, and then you go to, big mysterious figure is angry at me and foreboding and giving me a warning of the more the two of you are together, the worse bad things will happen. I'd be like, I don't like this. It's not a good time.
Okay.
But I don't know that there would be anything else other than it was a really uncomfy or confusing dream.
I'm just trying to understand, like, what does that mean overall to the theme of the story? Now I'm actually kind of curious, going like, okay, so you've agreed a lot with basically Astra's whims, as it were, because you know nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, so we've talked really strongly about, this is always really interesting, especially to come back then to what appears to be, like, the first route they wrote.
Yes.
And going like, I wonder if this was actually... because we've never played this before, actually in that way sort of more strung out, like it had a much better pacing of being like, you're actually going to have to figure out what we're leading you to. Like, we're going to give you hints and stuff.
And we actually are trying to drive you to a definitive conclusion and
which is what happened.
Understanding.
Yeah, like, so each of the characters basically, though, had a theme.
Sort of
but it all really seems to be, honestly, right now, based on that, my brain is like, oh my god, they're all the same again. It's... connect Nadia to people. It's connect Julian to people. It's connect Asra to people.
I was just say, it sounds like they're telling, based on the other two routes and this statement, I would tend to say that every one of them is, don't be an introvert, don't only rely on yourself, and you need to trust and connect to other people.
Which is...
specifically right now.
Which is interesting for romance, because a lot of romance does actually go for isolationist fantasy. The thing is we both thought that was really interesting, because we've actually complimented, I'm pretty sure, that before. But what has pissed us off is they cannot follow through with it.
You still are isolated with your partner all the time. Constantly. Like the concept is, we would have friends, but it's sort of like in Julian's route, where it's like, we'll call all of my friends. One person who came is someone who is my friend.
Yep, and
one of them I just barely met, even.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's the thing I think that frustrates me about this, is I really wish they would stop being so frightened of showing you the other characters. Like, there is a distinct...
Yes, they're all hot. It's okay. If I'm interested in someone,
that's why
it doesn't matter that everyone else is hot. I'm going to pursue this one.
Well, also, if you're encouraging people to play other routes...
It's cool to see hot people paraded around and go, ooh, another time, I'm going to chase that.
Right?
But not right now. And I don't immediately drop it and go, oh god, not this route. I need to go after that one.
Oh god, or if you do, guess what? You can just come back to it later.
I blink rapidly, and Asra's brows are high in his charmingly tousled hair. I have to say, though, for myself, like, if this does end up being not Julian's, you need to trust people and you need to be able to work with people, specifically work with people, because he's very bad at letting other people engage in what he's doing in a way that could help him.
Yeah.
So he's super bad at receiving help and trusting other people that they can actually contribute to his life. And allowing other people to engage in his challenges.
Right.
And I would say, and with Nadia, it's specifically, you need to come down from your distant high tower pedestal and connect with the common folk, connect with the needs of the people, connect with the normal humans, and be a part of society.
And let go of your past, be yourself.
Be yourself and be a part of society. And so...
like, again, there are nuances, but boiling it down to its bases...
Basically, in here, all I'm hearing so far is, don't be a loner. That's very, very different. Don't be just with each other.
But the thing is also, again, so what makes this interesting is we don't know what the rest of the story is.
Not
so
at all.
Sometimes it's difficult when, especially, one, you're commentating, as we've mentioned before.
Yes.
And two, where you've never read this at all and you don't know anything about this, to go, let me blindly stumble through a story, which I'm also going to try to critique and talk about in relation to tropes and information and stereotypes. And
I'd say some of it can be really interesting because... if you're trying to figure out where it's leading you, much the way you do with a mystery, you can come up with many different paths along the way until the author narrows it down.
Yeah.
At any rate, I blink rapidly, and Asra's brows,
charmingly tousled hair,
are high in his charmingly tousled hair.
You okay?
I want to tousle your tousled hair.
Oh.
I think I had a bad dream. I think I had a good dream. That did not sound like a good dream. At all.
That
sounded uncomfy.
That actually is...
Also, the complete isolation of the character, no background at all, dark, and intense. Yeah, no, that looks like a bad dream.
And the dong noises and whatever else.
That, tonally, that looks like a bad dream.
Thematically and tonally, if you're going to say good dream, that's just To me, that's just like we're just giving you a choice because we have to give you a choice.
Yeah, that sounds weird. Like, I wouldn't know how to interpret that as, it was a really good dream about an intense stranger who was judging me with dark music and dark eyes and dark background in a void. It was so good.
Right.
Whoa, no,
Whoa.
bad dream.
Bad.
I think I had a bad dream.
Huh? About what?
I can't really remember. Something about vanishing into our world together?
That doesn't sound so bad to me.
Depends on what it means. I think. He blinks like he's unsure if he spoke out loud and rolls onto his back to stare at the ceiling. Also, still, there's enough room for him to roll over and still not interact with you and your space at all. Huge bed.
Enormous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we should eat. I'll see what's in the kitchen.
I mean, you brought all the food in your pack with you because you had all the spices and things and you were going to cook the one time and then you didn't. Maybe you could make that, whatever you're thinking of. It would be okay. There's a cupboard set in the wall opposite the bed. While Asra rummages through it, I get up and look around. We're saying, despite this clear entryway and bedroom section here, that this is a studio because he says the kitchen is a cupboard straight in front of the bed.
I'm really confused right now. That's actually what I was kind of like...
Let me check the kitchen.
What?
The kitchen that's a studio apartment. With no other, like, the kitchen is not another area, it's in the bedroom. It is the other wall of the bedroom.
Wild. Okay.
Interesting. Anyway, and studio's fine, but the picture is not suggesting that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I love the watering can down here. That's really adorable. Good. If anyone didn't notice, next to the little, like,
so under
nightstand, whatever,
under the
below,
green leaf.
Yeah, down below, next to the books, there's a watering can, and it's really cute.
Yes.
Also, I love that someone had to come out here and haul, like, wood beams and a wood bed and stuff into the middle of the desert to build this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of great. Opposite the bed. While Astra's rummaging through it, I get up to look around. I was so tired before that I did not look at anything. It wasn't just outside. The whole room is full of plants. Succulents of every type. Some I've only seen in books. And a leaf that is not a succulent at all and is trying to be a, is it like not a graft, but like a starter.
Mm-hmm.
The pots are decorated with charms or painted in swirling patterns with magical power. Because in here, they will never wilt or die no matter how long Asra's gone. But he didn't do that outside because he doesn't want them in pots.
Again, really oddly powerful.
And really, like really consistent use of his magic to basically design all of his spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm getting very
I
solid.
am not powerful.
Asra, magical interior decorator. Da-na-na-na.
Yes.
Yes. Magical power.
So, we've got all these sweet spices. These cardamoms, better than the ones we have at home. And rice. I could make rice pudding.
I am pretty sure that you would need more than just those 2 ingredients. But
I think
we do have water now, yes?
Do we have milk?
Rice pudding often has milk, because that's sort of what makes it as a pudding, but it's okay. My stomach gurgles in interest. Grinning, Asra starts gathering the necessary bowls and hands me the cardamom pots.
It's going to be a good batch. Do you want to do the grinding? Mortar and pestle along the windowsill.
But they're not in the illustration.
That wasn't a question! That was I question you because I'm being a passive-aggressive bitch. Would you like to do the thing? It's over there!
Alright.
That's I'm not going to actually let you answer.
There was no letting you answer.
No.
I do like to grind. The tools are where he says. On the only sill, I imagine?
Do you like to grind?
Kohai likes to grind.
Kohai.
Having had the experience in the cave, Kohai likes to grind.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, so I kind of went back and I looked at that, and I was like, even for me, I'm like, the level of, like, panting, and I'm like, no.
And rubbing and sliding.
That wasn't like
was
he
not
was
just
crying.
Not just like, I hold you and I am relieved. That was horny.
That was very horny.
It was horny.
That was very horny.
I'm fine. Astra can be horny.
Yeah, that was great.
The tools are where he says, on the sill, lined with little clay animals that I did not see before. Their faces are expressive, colors bright. They remind me of ones he's brought me before, after a journey. An owl, a snake, a fox. Asra emerges from the cupboards with all the necessary ingredients and follows my gaze.
It's really beautiful outside. We're looking at little things. Asra is not following your gaze.
He's following your gaze to the window, but not to what you're actually looking at,
yes,
apparently.
That's no. Okay.
He turns his head where I'm looking, but doesn't follow your gaze.
Yeah, that's not following your gaze. Anyway, how really beautiful outside. It's going to be a hot one.
As he settles against the counter beside me, I grind the cardamom pods. Okay, I'm not 100%, but I did used to work in a spice manufacturing plant. Mm-hmm. And as far as I know, you crack open the pods and you grind the cardamom inside it. You don't actually grind the exterior shell.
Maybe it's a different method. So the thing is you have to consider maybe what's like classically done in certain areas, because I don't know. I know, so you and I ended up, actually, so fun fact, my friend and I at one point, even though I wasn't there at the time, so my friend worked at the spice facility first, and then I came there a few years later, it was me, and then I couldn't work there for very long because I had a massive allergic reaction to vanilla beans.
Yeah. Anyway, so we without any connection or knowledge at all, ended up working at the same place a couple of years apart, and it was kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as far as I know, it's sort of like pea pods. You don't grind and eat you don't cook the pod and eat that too in most cases. Mm-hmm. You usually peel it, but I would want to look that up actually.
I would too. That's why I'm like, also we're grinding the pods. So did you take the shells off and not use the inner?
Well, I assume we're grinding the unmolested pods with the seeds inside of them.
It's wild.
Which is interesting. It's not something I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
The air fills with their divine aroma.
I need to come up with a way to work on your magic today. Because I have no fucking ideas, because I do literally everything, but I am incapable.
Why?
I am incapable of doing anything. You do not understand that I am a bad teacher. This is why I do not wish to be your master. I am horrible at everything. Do you see how lovely and beautiful this place is? I am a terrible, terrible person.
Do you see how many spells are on this place?
No, it's so bad. I'm an awful magician.
So, Asra, I need to say, real quickly, why do you suddenly need to find a way to work on my magic? I have gone for quite some time without you teaching me anything at all.
Nope, it's fine. Environment is key. If you want, you could go ahead outside. Do some deep breathing.
I thought we might do that inside.
You know, I can do that inside.
I can deep breathe here.
Also, are you hiding something from me?
No, I wouldn't have that concern of just being like,
because
air.
The reason why I ask that question is because as an adult, I finally more understand sometimes why other adults would go, please, you should go outside. It's a lovely day outside. It wasn't just to be like, hey, you've been inside, you might want to change your atmosphere a little bit because it can be depressing to basically stay in the same state.
It can also stagnate you.
You know, it was more of, get out of my space, I am exhausted, and I want to do other things.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I say, it's a little patronizing.
Yeah.
You know, I say, you should go outside and breathe. And because I was also going to point out, there's no real covers on the windows.
No, it's
so
true.
The
outside air is inside, unless his magical charms, again,
which I am no good at!
Stop the outside.
You forget!
I say, I don't think he self-deprecates as much as you do.
No. I'm making fun of the fact that there really was that big, strong push, and there has been, and again...
He's not an expert at these things. He's also young.
And I'm just like...
He seems to know how to do everything.
He seems to know how to do a lot, actually.
A lot of things. I say, but, let's... So I imagine it's go get a little sun before it gets hot, expose yourself to the outside. It could be nice.
Right.
Do some deep breathing. Not that it can't be done in here.
I should have this ready in a while, or you could stand here and lend me a hand. I wouldn't mind the company.
Oh,
and we have such
it's one of these.
Timing.
It's not awful because we're if we were at 20 minutes, it would be worse.
Honestly, it would be worse.
We could wrap this up here.
Well, that's why I was like, the cliffhanger. That's what makes it bad.
So 100% Kohai is going to keep him company. The invitation has been, do you want to keep me company?
Also, the metagame is that we are super fucking curious. We want to see if it, we want it to be if you have a character that would, quote, go all in, and that would mean if you have an option to be romantic, regardless of how much fucking sense it may make, in context, because I imagine some of them are going to be really dumb, because some of Julian's were deeply stupid.
So much of this is really interesting to me, because there's this really strong dichotomy, and again, I might choose different things if I didn't know it was the fancy romance choice. And I've always enjoyed games that don't have a specific marker of this one leads you to romance and this one is just something else.
Right.
But the thing of I'll keep you company versus I'll be outside is very distant compared to I think I'm going to go look outside, or I might go see the outside. Do you know it's very different than I'll be outside.
Do you know what just occurred to me? I just realized in relation to a lot of games, one of the reasons I don't like to play sometimes some games is that the idea basically of investing all of that time and, quote, not getting something out of it, because it is very much a, do A...
cost return.
Yeah, do A plus B equals C, right, kind of thing. Which is also why sometimes Atomic games make me really uncomfortable, because some people seem to use them as a model for your
real life relationships.
Yeah, which is really bad. These are not real relationships. But I was sitting here and I was just like, holy shit, if I was playing this game, I honestly don't know, because we've had discussions and we've also had some people actually that I've even heard of critiques for this game also, where they were frustrated, and you pointed it out too, that the premium paying option wasn't actually getting you anything. It wasn't like, this is a big boost to your love meter.
Oh, there is no love meter. There is there is the as far as we understand, the dichotomized ending system, which is a spoiler, because when we first started playing this, we had no idea that there was what the nature of the ending or the finale or finishing of the story was. No structure or anything to it.
Yeah, because we were both kind of going off of basically adventure game background and also just kind of other games. Which is why my friend brought up the thing about when you buy something, it gives you a big boost to your love meter, basically.
I was going to say, yeah, that in my experience in the past with dating games and stuff, even specifically just like Flash dating games, which I have played, is one of those things where you're trying to make the right choices to make your love meter high enough to when you get to the chance to either ask them out or ask them for a kiss or whatever next step in the relationship thing is, they are warm enough to you that they will say yes. And from everything I understand about this game, none of that happens in here. It is a linear path that has a fork. And it doesn't matter what you do along the way as far as being able to as far as they building their affection to you to then get a more positive result. It's just, did you pick left or right?
Right. And then there, to kind of go off of that a little further, I also realized standing here was going like, if I was ever on my own playing this game, I wouldn't be interested in playing it. Because one, I'm not really attracted to any of the characters, and because two, so one of the things in regards to a lot of games is I will go, even if you can get a shitty ending, right? I will play the fuck out of it because it's got really compelling dialogue, really compelling character. It's got character-motivated plot. Like, I love character-motivated plot. It's my favorite fucking thing.
Yes.
But I would have never fucking continue, and I didn't initially continue
playing this game. My friend tried to play this years ago,
and I was just kind of
got lost.
One, I was thrown off because I went, oh shit, but I want to go get the coins, right? And I went, I don't want to invest that much time, and I am fucking not going to spend money, because I'm like, I'm sorry, as the kind of adult that I am, I do not believe I have the kind of time to log in, and I don't want to think about it. It makes me anxious, and it also frustrates
I don't have
me.
The budget to do this.
Yeah, and that was the thing where I was just like, I stopped playing. And I was like, they're like not even my minor attraction, basically. So the character I really did go in for, what I originally ran into was Muriel. And then I got a little bit further in it, and then there was also then this paid scene thing that came up, and I went, I don't like this.
The structure of the
game, and then also like some of the things with the character started going really weird almost
and the approach to Muriel's story was not what my friend was looking for.
No,
as far as I understand.
And I was just like, but that's what I realize now, is I'm like, holy shit, can you imagine, though? Then some people probably approaching going, well, at least I'll get, a thing out of it, right? And I'm like, I wouldn't even get a thing out of it, because one, I didn't think anybody other than Muriel was really attractive, but then what they did with him wasn't interesting to me. And then the third thing was that the paid system, everything else was so fucking confusing.
I would say it also, again, it doesn't do anything for you. It's just a bonus scene that you pay for. It's like buying an extra chapter.
But I didn't know that at the time. But I'm also just like, it's so interesting to me. I'm like, I would have never, like, it really was going, my brain going, I wouldn't get a reward out of this. Why the fuck would I do this? This wouldn't, like, it's not the story is interesting.
It's you're
not
gamifying
the character.
If you're
like, in a
gamifying
game way.
You need it to pay you back. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I don't know if that made a lot of sense.
I hope so. I would say, I think I got the gist of it for sure.
Okay.
I would say, but I definitely have different feelings on this, having not thought about it, or having not had an initial experience without approaching it for a Let's Play, because I was never exposed to the Arcana at all until going, we're looking for another Otome game to play, and then going, well, this one's very popular.
Well, see, and that's the thing, actually, I've noticed.
It got recommended, and I went, what's that? And my friend went, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is also, so me as, like, a reader or consumer of media, in a lot of cases, so I have struggled really hard in my life with, one, being able to pick up media, and then two, once I pick it up, I don't want to put it down.
Until you're done.
Until I'm done. I actually have, notoriously with my friend, it was really funny when I was working a job, I would sit there and rant at them about awful fucking books that I was just listening to on my job because I was so basically desperate for entertainment. I was getting more and more less picky about the stuff I was listening to.
I'm going, I just want to listen to anything available in the library that's available now.
And it would be so fucking agonizing because I went, but I'm so used to not putting shit down because I had a fairly discerning, ability to pick things that would sound interesting that I was like, I don't know how to put this down. And I would have probably had a similar problem here, and that was kind of what happened, is I really did want to keep playing, but one, the paywall really, hit me real hard, and two, the slight deviation, I was like, oh, this is probably not going to be in my bag at all, and it was weirdly easy, but it was around that time when I was pissed about the stuff, and I was learning how to put stuff down, but I'm just like, God, I would have been so frustrated, because for me this would not have been my kind of story.
I'm not sure how I would have responded to it if I had actually just seen it in the wild, as it were.
Right.
Because I do enjoy dating games in the way that I enjoy stories, and I enjoy romance stories like that, and I also like multiple choice things. I don't really so the dating games I used to play before basically visual novels became entered my sphere, before I was aware of them. Right. Again, like I said, we're like flash games and stuff, more video game structured, and so they were really a lot of fill a bar, fill a meter. It's an achievement system to get there, and it really is figure out the proper steps, get this thing, memorize the stuff. If we memorize her favorite drink, that kind of thing.
Right.
What is, how long does she plan to do this? What's her favorite? What's her hobby? Blah blah blah.
Right.
And then if she finds out that she, you know her well, then clearly you've been paying attention and she likes you back, and then you can bone her. That's basically how they go.
No. Which is also why I've mentioned before, I've been really annoyed that they're like, here's their profile, and I'm like, you could have put this in the game. It would have been fun to learn about.
Anyway, I think probably the coins would have confused me since they're not explained. I would have thought that's something you either need to do or, makes the game better.
Yeah.
And makes you more likely to win. And so then probably for me, I would have just been like, I'll put the game down for 2 months and just collect the stuff every day. Yes. Or whatever it is, because I'm a machine like that.
Oh, and that's fine. And that's also what I said, is you've been really good at basically persistence gaming in that way. I have noticed, so sometimes when my friend and I have even played stuff just between each other, or we'll read something, I sometimes will go, whoa, I am fucking done. And my friend's like, well, maybe a thing. And I'm like, no, because I've had, in that way, it's been funny, sometimes I'm able to actually really heavily call something pretty early on, and then my friend's like, no, this thing, and then at the end it was like, that was fucking it?
Nope, that was it.
And my friend's like, yeah, that was it.
You're right. And I know how to make it fun along the way, but
that's also happened to me, so when we were watching Mob Psycho, my friend got to a point where my friend just immediately tapped out. It was done, and I was so startled. It went over my head.
So I was super invested in Mob Psycho 100.
Yes.
Which, if you don't know, it's an anime. And I was going to say, the beginning few episodes are amazing.
It's the first 8 episodes.
Really,
I really kind of
cool.
want to go buy, quote, the first season, just because of that thing.
And the thing is there's some stuff in there, I want to go rewatch those sometimes. But, there was a point that hit, and I'm not going to spoil anything, where it really was in the middle of a conversation between two characters, I suddenly hit I'm done. I will not watch the series anymore.
This completely went off. And my
friend went, what?
Yeah, I was, I can remember it very distinctly. And then I continued on watching it, and I was like, holy fuck.
It died right there.
Yeah, it really did die, like, right there. Because I was so invested in the characters at that point.
That they didn't realize the story thing that just happened.
Yeah, I really didn't. That's actually a good way to get me, is that sometimes when I really go, this is my, my blorbo, basically, my scrunkly, it's just like...
It's my grunky scribbles.
Yeah, exactly. I really had a hard time putting it down, but when I did, it was so much more disappointing, I feel like, in that way, too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry, we've rambled for a while.
We have! 10 minutes of lies and scandal discourse. Welcome to the discourse.
Actually, if you've ever had any experiences like that, please feel free to talk to us about that. We love getting comments. Yep. Please feel free also to interact with the video in other ways. Yep. By commenting or liking the video. Actually does a lot in regards to YouTube algorithm. Sharing it does a lot, too. Also, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi, Patreon, and our Twitch. There are links in the description. We would still love to see you there. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye-bye!